UFC Fight Night, Cejudo versus Song, full card betting breakdown. We're going to start with the first fight of the night, make our way up to Cejudo versus Song, and kind of look at some of the underdog bets, the money lines, the props, and the parlays, and figure out what's the best thing to do for this UFC Fight Night. So we're going to start with Modestas and Rafael Cerqueira. I do believe Modestas gets the win by a decision, so just based off of that, prediction-wise, the best thing to do here, value-wise, is going to be something with a decision prop. I don't believe you should be that confident in Modestas going out there and getting a finish, as he is a decision type of guy inside of the UFC. Zach Paunga decision, Tyson Pedro decision, and even on the regional scene, going to decision with Lee Chadwick. He got knocked out by Vitor Petrino, finished Marcin Prachnio, but it was barely right at the end of that fight. I know it's very, 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 very possible he goes out there and finishes Rafael Cerqueira, but if we're thinking about it more on a value side of things, you got Bukauskas by decision at plus 300. And I think that's kind of the way to go here. I wouldn't touch really the money line on Modestas. I wouldn't do a dog bet on Rafael Cerqueira. So a decision prop on Modestas Bukauskas doesn't really look too bad here in the light heavyweight division. Nursultan and Eric McConico. I really like Nursultan here. I think he wins this fight by knockout. In this fight, over a round and a half is kind of 50-50. I personally have it right around that, beginning of round number 2, end of round number 1. So we shall see if it does go past around round 1.5. I don't really know if it will. I think I'm kind of leaning towards the under there. The fight to go to a decision is crazy, plus 300. It's iffy. I really wouldn't touch the over or the fight goes to a decision. Moneyline isn't bad on Nursultan Ruziboev. I wouldn't do an underdog bet on Eric McConico. Ruziboev inside the distance is minus 230. Again, you don't really want to touch that. Ruziboev by knockout, plus 145 is interesting, because if you look at Eric McConico's record, he has only lost by knockout. So I find it very, very hard to believe that he's going to go out there and get submitted in this fight by Nursultan Ruziboev. Nursultan has a few submissions on his record, for sure. 20 wins by a submission, but he hasn't gotten any in a while. Since the regional scene, getting arm bars and Kimuras and things like that. I wouldn't be mad at that. I would assume you probably get better odds once more of the odds start to roll out later on this week on Ruziboev by knockout, but that's about it. I wouldn't do an inside the distance because minus 230 is horrendous, but by knockout isn't really horrible there. For Nursultan Ruziboev, if you want to get a little fancy with it, get a little bit fancy with it, you can go Ruziboev by knockout round 1, and then parlay that with, put a quarter unit on round 1, quarter unit on Ruziboev round 2, and profit a little bit more with that, because I highly doubt the man's going to get a third round knockout win over Eric McConico, but we shall see. I got Nursultan by knockout. I think that'd be kind of the way to go there, unless you're wanting a money line or parlay Nursultan there. In the middleweight division, we got Austin Vanderford, Nicole Veretennikov. I think this is a dogger pass in the UFC welterweight division. The odds currently do have... Are they below here? Okay, they are. Plus 130 for Austin Vanderford. It's a 50-50 kind of coin flip on short notice in the welterweight division. It's a dogger pass. There's no props out just yet. It's just the over 2.5 rounds. I do believe it's definitely going to go to a decision. Nicole is a very, very hard guy to finish. And then Austin Vanderford, he has been finished before, but by Gegard and Aaron Jeffrey at middleweight. I don't think Nicole really has that crazy, crazy finishing ability. Got a few knockouts on the regional scene, but against much, much lower level competition. So I have this fight going all the way, and I do have Vanderford by decision. The fight going to a decision seems to be even money, so if you can get plus money on the fight to go to a decision, I would definitely take a stab at that. Also Vanderford as his money line, because I have Vanderford winning. Again, if he's plus money and I have him winning, I'm going to be betting on them to win their fights. Then we go on to Ricky Simon Javid. I've been talking about this one for a while, but Javid should not be this big of a favorite. This is 100% dog or pass. I wouldn't even really look at any of the props because they are so confident this fight goes to a decision, which I do believe the fight does go to a decision here in the bantamweight division, but don't look at the props, don't look at the parlays, nothing like that. Ricky Simon, underdog or pass. That's all I got to say about that one. Nick Klein, Mansour Abdul-Malik. It's a parlay piece for Mansour Abdul-Malik there. You can parlay him by finish. in this fight. Inside the distance, minus 475, minus 450. Parlay that one. Probably get some good profit on that. In the middleweight division, I wouldn't really touch his money line unless you're on Betway, where you get a minus 800. But other than that, I wouldn't really touch it. Mansour by knockout is how I specifically see him going out there and getting the win. Minus 138 isn't bad. If you're on my bookie, I think that's a solid odds for Abdul-Malik there. Minus 200 on Betway. Minus 180, minus 200. But if you're on my bookie and you're able to get close to even money on Abdul by knockout, I would definitely take a stab. Would definitely take a stab there at 185 pounds. Andre Fili, Milquizel Costa. I have Andre Fili as an underdog. So, of course, I say this every time. If you're plus money and I think you're going to win, bet on that fighter. Plus 105 is the best you're going to get right now. Got a few bookies giving him plus 100. So, if you're on one of those getting plus money on Andre Fili, I would say bet him. That's the only thing there. I wouldn't really look at the props for that one at 145 pounds. Ibo Aslan, Iwan Cutelaba. I am 50-50 on this fight going to a decision or being a knockout. For Ibo Aslan, I personally would say dog or pass when it comes to the money line. As you know, Iwan Cutelaba is a very, very live underdog here. This is a big test and step up in competition for Ibo Aslan in the light heavyweight division. Over 1.5 rounds, yeah, I mean, that's exactly where I would expect it to be, but fight goes to a decision is live. It is live. Plus 275 there. Iwan Cutelaba has gone to a decision a few times in the UFC. Coming off 2 decisions in the light heavyweight division. Went to a decision with Jacoby and Devin Clark. Of course, he loses by finish sometimes. He gets a finish now and then. But recently, a lot of his fights going all the way. So I would either do a dog bet or do some sort of decision prop on either man there. In the light heavyweight division, we go on to Alonzo and Julius Walker. I'm not touching the money line, really. It is a dog or pass, but I'm probably not going to be betting Julius Walker there. At light heavyweight, I may, if the odds get a little bit better, 250 range, I might bet Julius Walker, but it is a dog or pass for sure, money line-wise. Decision prop, again, just like the Ibo Aslan, Iwan Cutelaba, you know, not horrible. When you got a guy like Julius Walker, who is a finisher, but is unproven, he could win round number 1, lose round number 2 to Alonzo, and then Julius is just a tough cookie, and he's a hard guy to finish. I could possibly see this fight going all the way. I know Alonzo has a lot of finishes, a lot of knockout losses and wins and things like that. Went to a decision with Jimmy Crute, and went to a decision with Dustin Jacoby. You know, I'm finding it hard to believe that it should be plus 300. I think it should be plus money for sure to go to a decision, but I would say plus 180, plus 200 range. I think you're getting some value there for sure on the fight to go all the way. I could totally see a decision win for Alonzo. I could totally see Julius winning round 1, winning round 2, losing round 3, and winning a decision. Again, 2 light heavyweight fights in a row I think have value on the fights going to a decision. Do I think they do? Probably not. Ibo probably gets a knockout. Alonzo probably gets a late finish, but the value's there. John Melsick, dog or pass. Do not parlay John Silva in this fight. It's a dog or pass fight in the featherweight division. Fight goes to a decision. Again, I got John Silva by decision, so you can do that as well. John by decision plus 250. So dog bet on Melsick, or bet that John Silva unanimous decision prop. Rob Font, John Matsumoto, dog or pass again. I got Rob Font winning straight up. He's at plus 125, so you lost some value on him from his early plus 200, plus 190, plus 180. Now he's a little bit worse, but still, he's dog money, and I think he wins another good bet there in the, not bantamweight, 140-pound catchweight division. Brendan Allen and Anthony Hernandez and Song Yadong, Henry Cejudo, both are money line underdog or pass fights. You're not going to want to parlay Anthony at minus 300. There is really no value there. You're not going to want to parlay Yadong Song at 265. Again, not really any value there. Fight goes to a decision, minus 135. Nothing there. I think it's a stay away there. Stay away fight between Allen and Hernandez. And then Song versus Cejudo. I would just simply go down and and do Yadong Song scorecards no action. That's about it. I wouldn't touch the money line. I'd rather do scorecards no action for Yadong Song. The win by finish, if it goes to a decision, you get your money back. But that is what I got for you guys. UFC Fight Night Cejudo versus Song betting breakdown for the entire card. Like and subscribe. Check that pinned comment down below for all of my bets that I am making for this card. We don't have any parlays just yet because there's not a lot of odds out for a lot of the bookies that I'm using. But parlays coming out later this week, a lot of props coming out as well, and we already got all of our money lines posted. So check out that pinned comment. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.